Hello everybody. It's Mystery Card Monday, number 23. If you're here watching or participating, either way, please just say hello so I know you're here. You can make any comments you would like. I've got my computer on so I can see when you make comments, so don't be shy, just say hello. So it was pouring. Please pardon the mess over here. It was pouring when I was walking across the yard from the house to my craft studio. I tried to protect my my papers, but I guess it got a little bit wet. So please forgive me for that. So let's begin. This is going to be a fun fold card. And I'm just going to review the materials that we're using. I asked you to cut a card base at 7 inches by 8.5. Scored at 3.5. Nope, this is the wrong ones. So let's disregard the directions. Why did that come out? Oh no, the wrong one printed out. Fold and burnish a card, liquid glue. Yeah, this is not the right directions. You know, I didn't even look at them. So I'm going to use a split screen here and pull up my, I didn't even look, honestly. I just assumed that it was the right one. Yeah, it says number 23. I don't know what happened. Let me, you know, I didn't use autosave this time, and I don't know why, but it looks like it didn't save. Today's June 1, June 3. Yeah, this one says June, oh, right there. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to use, yeah. I'm going to have to read it to you. So let me, I'm so sorry about that. I just grabbed it to print. I have a new printer, so I just grabbed it to print, and I guess I didn't look very close. Okay. So I asked you to cut a 4 1/4 by 11 inch scored at 4 1/4 and 8.5. Then you needed a white or very vanilla or beige card stock at 4 by 4. You needed some coordinating DSP. That was one piece is cut at 4 by 4, and the second piece is 2 1/4 by 4. Cut an additional strip of the DSP that you're using, 3/4 inch by 4 inches. You need some scraps to do the sentiments. Adhesive, dimensionals, and I also forgot a glue dot because we're going to put the bow on with a glue dot. A 2-inch hole punch, but as you saw when I, maybe you didn't. Yeah, you saw that. I posted that. I didn't have a 2-inch hole punch, so I used a 1 3/4 inch hole punch. It can work just as well. If you've got one that's 2 1/4, that'll work as well. And then we needed some stamps and coordinating inks, embellishments, and ribbons. Okay, so clue number 1 is to fold and burnish your card. Now you're going to see mine already has the hole in it because I want to save some time, but you really don't need to do that. So I'm going to fold and burnish my card. And you've got to be real careful that it is, that it's not getting in the way of the other fold. Okay? Okay. And then it says glue, center and glue your 4 by 4 DSP on the front bottom flap. So this would be the bottom flap, okay? So I am going to use liquid glue to adhere this here. And those of you that follow me, you know this is how I do it. Is this thing working? Because I see nothing. Split screen here and pull up my, okay. I see it now. I didn't even look, honestly. I just assumed that it was the right one. Okay. So I'm going to, those of you who have seen me do this before, this is the way I like to do it. A lot of people put their glue on and just stick it on. I like to center it and make sure I've got it where I want it before I start gluing. I am real picky about trying to keep it straight. So for me to put glue on it and then put it down, and I never have enough wiggle time. So this is what I like to do. So now I'm holding it very, very tightly on my bottom, my baby finger and the ring finger and so forth, so it doesn't move on me. And now I'm going to glue this, pushing the glue backwards. And now I'll do the top, because now I got it. And this gives me one more chance to adjust if I need to. And I don't. So here we go. Okay. That's the first one. And I don't know why that is doing that. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. Don't forget to say hi if you're here. Okay, so that's the end of clue 1. Clue 2 says center and adhere the card to the top flap, the 2 1/4 by, now yours is not going to have this cut out. I decided to do that instead of waiting and punching it after. So I'll get to those directions in a minute. So I decided to punch them both before I even came on. So again, I'm putting my glue on the back here. And then I see I'm not moving on the screen, so I hope it's going. Looks like I might have frozen. We just had a very impressive rainstorm here, so it's probably buffering because of that. Okay, so then that's what it's going to look like. So when you close the card, those two are going to be like this. Is anybody here to tell me whether my screen is frozen or not? Looks like it is. Well, maybe not now. Okay. And then it said on the directions to bring this flap down, close this, and punch it with your 2-inch hole punch, or 1 3/4 in my case, and I don't even have that over here. Let me get it. So on my hole punch, I have a line that shows me where it's halfway. So what I did was I went in and I lined up my card with the halfway mark, and then I punched it. Okay? And that way, you know, you've got pretty even. If you don't have that bar on the inside, take a piece of tape, stick it across here, and then make a little mark here and a little mark over there so you know it's a halfway on both sides, all right? With a circle, it's not as bad because obviously circles are forgiving. Okay, so this is what we got so far. And while you're at it, punch a second piece out of another piece of the matching, the same cardstock. Okay, so punch a second piece of the same cardstock scrap. Okay, clue number 3. Stamp a sentiment on the 4x4 cardstock. Okay, so I am going to put, I'm using the perennial postage stamp set. I am going to put, let me see. I know you will get through this. You're simply, I'm going to do Simply Marvelous. Marvelous. Let's see. Simply Marvelous. There we go. So I'm going to put that on my block. I'm going to try to make it as straight as possible. Okay, that's pretty straight. And I'm going to stamp my inside message on here. Let me know if I'm not, if I'm off screen, okay? So you tap, 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 and you look to make sure everything's got ink on it. If you're not positive that you got enough, go back. And then you want to make this as straight as possible. And I'm going to go down a little bit so it'll be easier for me to get. So I use my lines to make sure my cardstock is straight. And then I'm pretty sure that this is straight. I try to find my center left to right. Try to make sure it's straight and go straight down. Hold it there a second so that it can absorb the ink and then pick it back up. Wow, pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay, clean your stamp off immediately. And you should get in the habit of putting them away right away, because take it from me, if you don't, you gotta do a big old search to figure out where it goes. Okay, so it said stamp the inner part, and then you're going to add that 3/4 inch strip that I told you about, like had you cut. Now I'm gonna put mine real close to the edge just to leave a tiny border. So it might have even been better to put this strip on first and then stamp, so that you could find your middle from the edge of the paper, but this is okay too. Okay, so like I do always, I'm gonna hold one side real tight and lift up the other side. And it's paper, so you don't need a ton of glue. And then I like to push mine that way so it doesn't seep out. And then make sure you're straight. Do the other side. Now, when I made my sample, I did totally different colors, so I'm going to show you that after. There. Okay, so that's on, and then it says, okay, so that's the end of clue 3. No. Then it says to add this to the inside of your card. So this is going to go down here. And like I said, I make sure it's really centered before I probably one of the biggest things, or one of the most important things, is to make sure your layers are straight. It is very noticeable when they're not. And I know these are handmade cards, and it's okay because they're handmade cards. But if you get in the habit of really looking closely to make sure that they're straight, it makes for a much nicer card. Okay? And if you miss this live, either tonight or tomorrow morning, I will have it posted on my YouTube channel. Now my YouTube channel, and this is a long story, but my YouTube channel is called Shelly's Craft Cottage. So I was originally Michelle's Craft Cottage, and then somebody hacked my page, and Facebook wouldn't believe me, and they cut my page off. They completely shut it off. So I stayed with Michelle's Craft Cottage, but I was having a hard time with that. So I started all over again and created Shelly's Craft Cottage as my business page and Shelly DeShane as my personal page. And when I was growing up, my nickname was Shelly. So that's, some people know me that way. And then Facebook said that I was not following the rules, community rules, so they shut down Shelly's Craft Cottage. So my friend, who is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and a guru of all things media, said, go and do a group. Okay, so that was clue 3. Now, clue 4 says stamp. Remember I said cut out this 1 3/4 and then find another one that's going to be about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches. That's what this one is. The only downside to this is there's not much room to stamp anything. So that's why I put a good one, you know, a nice one inside. So I'm going to do just a little one here on the outside. So this says big hug, and I'm going to make sure it's as straight as possible. And on circles, it's forgiving. So if you've got it a little bit crooked, you fortunately can turn your circle. So I am going to stamp big hug. And on the inside it says what I put, you're simply marvelous. So that works together. So you want to center this on the circle. Go down and hold it a second, then come straight up. There. Now, like I said, even if this, even if this is not straight, you can wiggle that and get it to be straight. Okay. Then you want to stick these two together. Now you could raise it up, put a dimensional underneath it, or you could just glue it straight down. I am going to try a dimensional on this one because on my other one I did, I glued it straight down. So this time I'm going to try raising it up. I'm hoping it doesn't interfere with the opening and closing of the card. And if it does, well, then I'll have to take it apart. But we'll give it a shot. Let's try something. It's always fun to experiment. There. Okay. Now this one is going, this is going to go here. So I don't think it's going to interfere. Okay. So that was the end of clue 4. Clue 5 is fold up the bottom section, center the circle on the top so it can pass through the opening. Do not glue until you're sure where it needs to be. And try it a couple times, which I will do. And only glue the lower portion of the circle. So, now I don't want it to go too far in, but I don't want it to be out too far. So I'm going to like I said in the directions, test it a couple times. So I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to see how easily it opens. Yep, that works good. Okay, so this is going to be a good place to do it. Okay, so I'm going to make a little, just a tiny mark there, and then only glue the bottom. And you want to put a decent amount of glue on this piece because this is a movable card, and people will be playing with it, opening and closing it, opening and closing it. So you want to just make sure that it's got a decent amount of glue. Okay, and now I can open it, and you can see there that I didn't go above with the glue. Okay, so it's going to close like that and like this. Isn't that cute? I love this paper. See how it goes lighter, starts real dark down here, then it gets lighter and lighter, and then this is the lighter piece up here. So it's a very pretty paper. Okay, so make sure you've got that done. Now it says make a bow, or with ribbon or any other material you want to use. Now I have a bow maker because it makes really awesome bows, and I don't have to worry about taking it apart and putting it back together again. It's not very hard to make, as you can see. It's just a 2x4. You need a drill press to do that. So when you do this, you're going to go the right over left. Then you take that one that you went right and go under, and then you come over. Okay? And then you want to make sure you're pulling your knot and you're putting it in the middle. Okay, you can adjust it a little bit after you start to do it, but try to get it as close to the middle as possible. And then pull these little ends the way you want them to go. In my case, I want them to go down, so I'm pulling it down. Make it nice and tight and pull it down. Now see how that goes? Now if I pulled them straight across, I'd have a bow with straight across, which is fine too if that's what you like. But in this case, I want it to go down. Okay. Okay. So that's the end of clue 6. I don't see anybody here unless they're not saying anything. So now you want a glue dot, which comes on a roll like this. And in this case, because it's going to be handled a lot, I'm going to put a glue dot on one of the bows, and then also put one on the other bow, so I can be sure that it's going to stay on, stay well, because like I said, it's kind of an interactive card, so you want to make sure that you, so it says make a bow and then center it and adhere it with glue dots. Okay. Let that side go up a little bit more. Oh, that's not very centered, is it? Before they stick too much, let me pull it over. Okay. That's better. Now you clip your ends the length you want it. It's always a good idea to do an angle because it looks prettier. And then puff up your bow. There's that. I think that's pretty in that color. Okay, and now it says that's the end of 6. It's a short one tonight. And number 7, clue number 7 says to embellish it as desired. Okay, so I was looking at all my embellishments and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. But I thought this green might be pretty because it has some gold in it. It has some gold in it and it has some green in it. So I'm going to test it first, see how I like it. I'm going to put one here. Yeah, I think I like that. Yep. And I'm going to put a little one next to it. Okay. Oh, I like that. And then I'm going to put another little one over here. That is my embellishments. I'm using the blooming pearls, they're called. They come in pink, they come in blue, they come in gold. And that is my card. So, clue number 7. So the last one is, now you've finished your fun fold card, take a picture of it and post it on the post that lists all the materials. So I put out a list earlier. Was it last night I did it? I forget now. It's been a busy weekend and today. So you go to that where it says all the measurements that you have to cut and do a comment and post your picture of your card. Okay? And I want to show you the one I made as a sample. This is using the same paper with the purple and it goes into the pink. And this is Petunia Pop. And this one here, I wrote, love you. And on the inside, it says, I can't thank you enough. Okay? So that is the card. And this, even with it sticking up, it is not quite 5 1/4. So it'll fit in an envelope very easily. It will be fine for an envelope. Okay? And that's the 2 cards. And I appreciate that you're here. And I want to thank you for coming. I hope, excuse me, I hope to see you next time, which will be on the 17th of June. Next week is, what would it be? Next week will be the 10th, and it's the second week of the month, second Monday of the month, and I have Quilt Guild on the second Monday. So I won't be here next Monday. I will see you again on the 17th at 7 o'clock, and I hope you come and enjoy watching and follow along with me. Watch for the post in a couple weeks. That tells you everything you have to get ready. So thank you very much for coming. Again, this is Michelle. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Aiken. I do virtual classes like this one, and I do in-person classes. So I'd love to have you participate on my Mystery Card Monday the next time. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.